And welcome to today's webinar where I'm going to be talking about the secret of onboarding. We've been at this for a few years now at Tydy, looking at companies, working with companies that are global in nature and really starting from the very beginning, which is onboarding. The reason we're calling this a secret is because there is a huge amount of untapped potential that lies within the organization, and that's in the form of employee data. That employee data can be used very effectively to transform processes into experiences. I mean, none of us like processes. We join an organization, there are compliance processes, there are IT ops processes, background verification. Oh my God, the list goes on and on. But really, the key for us is to convert these processes into experiences so that it's a pleasure and so that it is something that I don't really have a problem with. And that is really the secret of onboarding. At Tydy, we've been doing this across the globe for some of the largest organizations globally. We've been working with them to restructure, reimagine their data and document flows, the verification flow, the provisioning and IT ops, and even the journey management. How do you use data to really personalize the entire communication strategy with each individual? And we've been doing that across all four corners of the world today. So let's come back to the main topic, which is onboarding. The secret is data, and onboarding is the most data-rich process in the employee experience. If you think about it, through the whole onboarding process, you are collecting on average about 250 to 300 data points about each individual, everything from their work experience to their education to their wellness and goals and medical and family structure. There is a ton of information that you're collecting about the individual, but you're using that for either compliance, just getting that out of the way, or for verification, getting that process out of the way, and then just sending all that data back into a dump where, it's there for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, whatever the statutory requirements are, and then you forget about it. But that is really what I want to call out. Data and HR in today's world cannot be parallel tracks. It has to come together, and HR teams, people leaders need to start thinking about tapping that potential that data has. No longer about just compliance. And what if we could actually use it to reduce attrition, that which is the bane of all of our existence today? The first thing that comes to mind is, how do we personalize the whole process? Because if you think about the customer lifecycle, think about your favorite TV app, the favorite Netflixes and Amazon Primes of the world. Think about your delivery services. Think about your e-commerce companies. They're using data to personalize your entire experience. What movie to watch? What would be the show that you would want to watch the next time that you want to binge watch something? They know everything about you, but they're using that data to provide a higher quality of service, which you and I have come to love. Why can't we do that same thing within the organization to personalize the journey of each individual? Why should you and I have to watch the same shows if we don't have the same interests? Similarly, why do you and I have to go through the same process internally? You can use data like work level, job profile, location, family data, so many different things to really unlock the potential of a personalized experience. Think about it, should an exec who's joining the organization have the same onboarding experience as a fresher coming out of college? The answer should be no. Should, someone who is based out of New York have the same onboarding experience as someone who's based out of London? 50%, yes, but the remaining 50% has to be architected around that region or that zone or that office. Someone who's joining the analytics team should not have the same experience as someone who's joining the sales team. It's two very different worlds and very different worldviews of the organization, because a sales team is looking at the organization differently and an analytics team is looking at the organization differently. And so you need to be able to personalize that whole experience. Similarly, your processes. Why would you have cookie cutter processes when you have so much data which really enables a 10x experience? Verification is a pain. Is a pain for everyone. Why should that experience be a pain? We have enough technology today, enough sophistication to deliver the experience which does not ask you for the information twice, which does not ask you for random bits of information through the entire process. Everything happens in one go. If you are joining an organization as a sales exec, the organization should know and have it prepped for you on day one. Your employee card, your credit card for expense management, your MacBook, your phone, your badging, all of that should be set up and ready for you. If you're joining the analytics team, the same thing goes, but within that laptop, you won't have Salesforce access. You should actually already have analytics tools and environments configured for your job. Personalizing processes is a really great way to unlock the potential of a really great onboarding experience. And similarly, if you think about communication, you can think about different types of communication going out to an executive who's joining as a senior VP in sales versus someone who's joining as a fresher in sales. A fresher in sales should get a communication journey that talks to them about the growth within the organization, about how they can learn from amazing mentors within the organization. But an executive who's joining with 20 years of experience heading up sales in the EMEA region or in the North American region should basically get information that talks to them about how their career has the potential to really add value. Their experience has the potential to add value to the organization, and how they are going to have to now start mentoring some of these freshers joining, and what are the opportunities to close what kind of deals. It's really important that communication is personalized based on the level, the location, the skills, even family, even personal information can be used to personalize communication, like benefits and perks and rewards and processes. Another big area is to use data to unlock behavioral insights. How do you use data to unlock how people have been responding to various processes? Have they been responding well and then suddenly it starts dropping off? Have they been really active and then they suddenly start dropping off? What type of content and communication have they been listening or have they been responding to? All of these data points, behavioral data points, are really important to unlock the potential of early warning signals. Who's potentially slipping away, who's potentially safe, who is really excited to have joined the organization, and who's really doing things much faster than, the average. Really important. But at the same time, you think about completion data, you think about behavioral data. All of those are great ways for the organization to learn and understand more about the individual without having to get into really in-depth analytic setups and analytic teams that need to kind of come in and crunch data. Very simple signals. But an even more important part, which most organizations don't think about, is how do you deliver data and analytics to me as an individual? How do I improve myself using data that you can give me? I was doing great in sales. I'm doing amazingly this quarter. I'm meeting all my quotas. In fact, I'm, you know, rocketing past all the quotas. And then suddenly a quarter comes and I start dropping off. What is it that I could learn from the variances between these different quarters? It's really important to use data to create self-improvement opportunities within the organization. And personal analytics, we've been used to it. Nike Plus and our smart watches today. We count the number of steps. We count the heart rate. We count our O2 levels. But we need to be able to do that within the organization in order to try and improve ourselves within the organization as well. And it's really important that our organizations start enabling us with these personal analytics to help build a better self. So in conclusion, I think what I want to say is that every single organization, big, small, medium, wherever they're located, there is a ton of data that you already have about your workforce, about each individual. And it's time we start using that data to deliver a better level of experience, to deliver a more personalized experience, to deliver a much more efficient process and experience as well. With that, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you have any comments. Would love to get your feedback. What do you think about this? Do you agree, disagree? And let's have a conversation about it. My details are over there, so looking forward to it. Cheers.